Says we are live, brother. All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, before we get started, as always, we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to
Yeah.
Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem Rakak Badash. Also, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to all you brothers out there. And, we're just, flowing in the spirit, rolling in the spirit. All right. We don't really have anything in specific to talk about. So we're just going to, get into, some prophecies, be a little open forum, a lesson, and hopefully through the spirit, it's edifying, uplifting. All right. But I don't know if you have anything to say, Lahab, by any chance.
No, I'm just rolling.
I guess we could start off Ak, with because I know we mentioned it on Monday how you have a division amongst this kingdom right now. All right, if you're paying attention to what's going on, geopolitically. All right, stuff that's happening here in the States. You see that division, right? And as the scriptures say, what? If a kingdom's divided, it shall not stand, right? That's in the book of Mark and also in the book of Matthew, I believe. Okay, and we're seeing that. You got the left versus the right. Heterosexuals versus homosexuals. Races are all divided. You see, and that's because the Lord, He said He's gonna what? Bring division. I think that's in the book of Luke, if I'm not mistaken.
Sure.
He mentioned that. That's what He's here to do. Because, you got to remember, as it says in the book of Sirach, the 33rd chapter, it says that that the Lord, He divided the nations. He made them diverse, right? And we're not meant to mix and mingle. Look, you got the sons of God, which are the Israelites, right? They're on the right-hand side. Then you got the sons of Satan, basically, which is Esau. They're on the left-hand side. Then you got the heathens who are in between, who do their own things, right? Elam's different from Ammon. Ammon's different from Moab. Moab's different from Ishmael. Ishmael's different from Ham, etc. See? We weren't meant to, mix and mingle. All right? So the Lord, He's, making that separation right now. And especially, for the men of the Lord. Okay? The men of the Lord have a completely different spirit, the followers and believers of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And I made a lesson, I think it was last week, if I'm not mistaken, how we're going to be Enoch out of here, right? Meaning translated. And that's because we got a righteous, walk in us. And the Lord doesn't want us to be tainted with this world. You see? Or I'll say this, tainted by this world. Excuse me. All right, but if you got something, Salaki, I don't got my phone, my second one.
No, I got you. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4, and verse 10. He pleased the Most High and was beloved of Him, so that living among sinners, He was translated.
Woo! That's talking about Enoch. And the same thing's going to happen to the elect. They're about to get translated out of this world. And that's when we get that upgrade. We'll really be in that second covenant, where the laws are put in us perfect, in our minds, so then we can perform everything perfectly. And then that's when sin, is completely gone, from us. We're not going to transgress the laws. All right. That means our kingdom will be everlasting. That's why it says in the book of Isaiah, what? World without end, meaning an age. Israel, world without end. Okay? Because, hey, once we get translated and upgraded, we'll never fall again. And that's what we're fighting for. Unlike the rest of our people, our people are still, stuck on stupid. which is this place. You see? But you got it, Doc.
All right. I just got a precept, but
Uh-huh.
it says, yes, speedily was he taken away, lest that wickedness should alter his understanding or deceit beguile his soul.
Mm-hmm. You got it, Doc.
Which, yeah, the Most High, like it says in the scriptures, that the Most High is patient of reality to make pressure. You know, meaning we're not going to be, you know, the elect are not going to fall to the snare of thick. Well, the Most High is not coming back. We might as well give in to our flesh type of rhetoric that is making so many to fall away. All right, the Lord is going to keep that hope alive. All right, that's why you see this little post with somebody be still. That comes from the scriptures, man. What does that mean to be still? We were long suffering and patient with the works that Yahweh Shai has to come to pass. In which that's our understanding. We understand this is all prophecy. We have to
Yep.
wait on prophecy. The Lord is subject unto His word, man. All right.
Yep. Ah.
Part of that word is that He said that He was going to deliver us, but He said
Ooh.
necessary evils, all right, that have to come to pass, you know, because of the destruction of this place that's coming. It's a way that the Lord is breaking this place down. It says, how then could He come and spoil this house except He first come and spoil the rich man? All
Mm.
right. So the Lord is bringing this devil down. I would say little by little, but it's really not. These are great, great events that are happening. You know, for lack of better words, man. All right.
Yeah, things are moving, man. You know, we're in that time period where it's you know, it's like the snowball effect. You know, where it started off small and slow, but as time keeps going, it's that snowball's getting bigger. It's going faster, and we see it right now. You know, you got everybody mentioning all these different things that are happening. You know, I'm talking about the commoner. You know, they're mentioning about this whole Kirkland situation, Captain Kirk. All right, and they're saying that that was a planned event, right? You know, a lot of people are basically pointing the finger at the small hats, saying, yeah, they're the ones behind it. You know, because Captain Kirk started coming up against them, right? And then here's another funny thing: you had Ben Shapiro, right? If you guys know who that is, he's one of those podcasters. You know, he tends to be um, a right winger, right? But he's a small header, right? And it's funny, he he's now taken over Captain Kirk's podcast, right? I forgot what it's like, something with the 1776. I forgot exactly the title of it. But point being though is, all of a sudden, out of all people, he's the one that's going to take over, you know? So everybody's saying, hey, these guys are the issue. Then you just had, I don't know if it's I think it was introduced. I don't believe it was passed, right? But they're introducing a bill that says if you speak against the state of Israel, that you're going to have your passport blocked, basically, not going to be able to travel. Basically, there's going to be repercussions, you know. All right, that just got um introduced. That it's starting to make headlines, so to speak. All right, you know. So a lot of things are happening. You see. Hey, the scriptures say what? They're going to be greatly despised. If you could get that out real quick. You know, I think that's in the book of Jeremiah. You know, they're going to be greatly despised. You know, everybody is tired of eating, in particular, the small hats. You know, people are tired of them.
Jeremiah 49.
I believe it's 49, yeah, if I'm not mistaken. And you can start, wherever it is, wherever sounds good. Hey, but that's heavy though. Going back to that statement that I made, because we're getting to a point where Amos 8 and 11 is about to be in effect. You know, there is going to be a famine of the word at some point, you know? And as I stated before, in one of the lessons that I made recently, I forgot when I made the statement, but I said it. These different, carnal events that happen, throughout the United States, and it could be worldwide too, right? These things, they're done, and most of the time purposely, right? So they can fulfill a particular agenda, and these agendas, or this agenda that these elites want to fulfill is us being silenced. That's something that they want to do. Hey, we're first and foremost the main threat to them, right? And then secondly, you got even these people in the world that are exposing them, left and right, and so they're tired of it. Because you got to remember, Esau, he was able to keep this power, sustain it through deception. That's one of his main tools, is to deceive the people so he can control them. It's basically just mind control. It's just mind games. That's all
Yep.
it comes down to. All right. But you got it, Doc.
This is Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 14. I have heard a rumor from the Lord Yahweh Shemi Shai, and an ambassador, an angel, is sent unto the heathen, saying, gather ye together and come against her and rise up to the battle. For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men.
Woo. So yeah, Esau, he the Lord's making him small, right? And that goes, into a couple things. You could say, he's one, despised, right? Hated, looked down upon. Everybody's, um, everybody is seeing this man's true colors, right? Then even just, physically speaking or carnally speaking, right? They're low in numbers. And it's funny because they always say that, oh, they're the majority, right? And they call everybody else minorities. But it's funny, there was this one guy, man, who was it? It's one of these, red pill white podcasters, who are, that are, right winger, right? He's one of these, younger guys who are coming up as well. And he made a point in his podcast, and he said that, look, we're basically the minority. I forgot how he exactly worded it, but he mentioned that we're basically getting replaced, and that's a whole thing right now. They're talking about replacement theory, and it's actually happening. You got all these different nations, right? Whether it be Jake, whether it be the heathens, Ishmael, Ham, whatever, right? Elam. They're coming from all their countries, and they're going to these quote unquote white countries, right? In Europe, out there in New Zealand, Australia, out here in the States, Canada, etc. And now it's becoming so-called infested with, so-called black and brown people, right? They're really starting to see it. Then on top of that, their women are going with the different nations. They're not even going for the so-called white man anymore. The white woman is not dealing with the so-called white man like that. Like, yes, of course, you're going to see them around and, together, no doubt about it. But you constantly see a white woman with a black man, Hispanic man, Asian, right? East Indian. I see it a lot, throughout my walk, throughout the days. Okay? So the Lord is really, putting this guy down. All right? But you got it, Doc. And like I said, hey, they're despised. Hey, people, hey, they're having, they always call it, black fatigue, which I'll say this, hey, we got a black fatigue too over here, man.
They,
Our people are a goddamn menace, and we all know that. But, one thing that they don't like to put out there, but it's still, being, posted is a thing called white fatigue.
Yep.
A lot of people are tired of these Edomites and how they, act and treat people and the things that they do. It's coming out more and more. You see?
And one
But
thing aside from that, Slacky,
you got it, Doc.
Jake coined the term, but that just further proves, that all he does is steal things, then try to use it towards his own, or he tries to, like right now, even with the whole Captain Kirk thing that's going on with that guy, they're trying to act like this. I mean, Malcolm X was set up and all those leaders, but at the same time, those were actual movements that gathered people together for, the reason of not wanting their communities to be destroyed and their people to be, murdered for no reason. This dude is, he's speaking on the fact that they are losing power according to their privilege and all the ill-gotten gain, and they
Yep.
justified for all the evil that they've done.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally like not the case. Like now, it's one minute you want to be a truther, and the other you really just want to be a slanderer and a what's the word I'm looking for? A victim.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Victim villains, man.
Exactly. They have that complex heavy on them. The victim villain, you know, or villain victim. I'll say it like that because they're the real villains. Because
Yeah.
you made a point. This man got everything by ill-gotten gain. You know, he didn't make good trade deals. He didn't sit there, invent all these different products to help the world to for business or whatever, right? Man, he stole everything. He raped, robbed, and murdered. That's it. That's it. Okay? That's the history of the so-called white man. And they hate that. That's a stain on them. See, that's the thing. They can't get away from that stain in their history. Now they call, a real, historical facts theories, right? They call what? Critical race theory. Now it's a theory all of a sudden. Once people started rising up, calling them out, bringing things out, yada yada yada, right? Now all of a sudden it's a theory. No, these are just, as Elder Malcolm has coined, what? These are critical race facts. Okay, these are facts, and mind you, these facts are actually coming from your own people. That's why the scriptures say, what in the book of Psalms? Their own tongue shall fall upon themselves, right? Because really, because I'll say this, we're not the ones who have these publishing companies. We don't make books. Let's just get for real. Hey, the ones who are making these books and who are able to produce it in mass and get it out there in the world is Esau. Then a lot of this information is coming from these different scholars or even people who were actually there at that time, right? And these books were made in the 1800s, early 1900s. You know what I'm saying? But see, the reason why they were published during those time periods or why they were made, okay, well, one is because the Lord set it up that way. And it's really for to be used against them in this time period, first and foremost. But secondly, is they didn't believe that the Israelites, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, were going to be able to look these things up. Because remember, hey, they stripped everything from us. Hey, Jake didn't know how to read and write for how many years? During hardcore slavery. So they were documenting everything and they were just passing it along to themselves. But now we're in a time period where the Lord has risen us up, and now those things that they documented is now being used against them. That's why the scriptures say in the book of Job, what? Your own tongue condemneth thee, not I. Right? Your own tongue is the one that's condemning you. We're just taking what is what's written or whatever you say, and using it against you. You see? But you got it, Doc.
Yeah, this back in that Jeremiah 49. verse 16. Thy terribleness hath deceived thee, and thy pride and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, that holdest the height of the hill. Though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith the Lord Yahweh.
But that's basically going into Eve, man. You know, hey, they're the ones who, hey, were the original cave dwellers, right? And now they make replicas of caves via these skyscrapers. You know, that's all those skyscrapers are. They're literally just, mountains, right? Artificial mountains and caves. You know, hey, you go in, you're on the 20th floor, all right, 2005. You know, that's where you live. Hey, hey, their homie lives, on floor 13. You know what I'm saying? And and you've been in these buildings, Lahab. I've been in these buildings, for work. We see how it is. It's literally just little caves.
Yeah.
And then a lot, especially them Edomites, they love being in the higher or the highest floors, so they could just look down on everything. They're as that eagle, and that's what it. Because look, the eagle, they're the most, vicious bird. Okay, they're the most exalted bird, right? And proud as hell. When you look at a eagle, they're just a proud creature.
Uh,
You know, just like Esau, proud. And they like look, being up above just to look down at the people, like a little creep, a little freak. That's all Esau is. He's a little creep and a freak. You know. See, Jake wasn't supposed to be in those buildings. You know what I'm saying? That was meant for E. But it's funny because hey, it's a Jake over, right? We used to say that years and years back. It's a Jake over. Now you got Jake all in these buildings dealing with the white woman, you know, and they're mad about it. Hey, these Edomites are mad. They don't like you in their neighborhood. But then if they say anything, oh no, now I'm racist.
you are.
And I'll say this: they've been told to be PC for a while, but now that old hatred is coming back. They're getting back to their them true colors. So a lot of them are starting to just get blunt. You know, just first they're doing it via the social media, right? But now it's getting to a point where you're starting to see more and more clips of them getting bold, you know, getting bold, right? In somebody's face. And see, they're going to get back to that old spirit too of using that weapon because he in general, he's not really a fighter like that. He's weak, you know. He's very stiff, so he's not really a strong individual.
I got you.
Yep, you got it, Doc.
This is a precept in the book of Proverbs 30, starting verse 12. There is a generation that are pure in their own eyes, and yet is not washed from their filthiness. There is a generation, oh, how lofty are their eyes, and their eyelids are lifted up. There is a generation whose teeth are as swords, and their
Ooh,
teeth
he's on.
as knives. Which that's guys like I'll say from your Trumps to your Kirks, they're actually speaking villainy, because even when we speak, all right, yeah, spirits get riled up, but we're telling our people to wait on the Lord. This guy's actually building up in the minds of these people to war physically against mostly Jake, but anybody that's not a so-called white man, anybody that's not a Edomite, Salaki.
Yep.
That's why it says it has knives. What do you do with a knife? You kill. Those are murderous weapons, man. They're speaking evil, saying that we're the 15% and we're doing the most damage. None of their numbers make sense, by the way. But it's
Yep.
all to gear into the minds that the so-called white man is the victim and he needs to fight back. You're stronger than that. You're the people of the Lord. It's all madness.
Yeah.
I was just speaking. Nothing erected in this place was erected by honor and long suffering and hard work. It was on the hard work of others and theft and murder. Like it says in the scriptures that the thief cometh not but to steal, kill, and destroy. And that's the reason why his nation is being destroyed, because it's all been through ill-gotten gain. So now it's coming back on them. But
Yeah,
it says,
is there any more to that or not? Because was there more?
yeah, it's a little bit more.
Okay, Con. Because can you get Sirach? I think was it the 10th chapter afterwards?
Yes, sir.
You know, you can get that too. But yeah, you finish out what you got, Ak. So like,
Come.
yeah, like I said, I don't got my scripts, man. I don't know how I forgot my second phone when I left the
Also,
house.
it says there is a generation whose teeth are as swords, and their dog teeth as knives, to devour the poor, needy from among men. That's pretty much it on it.
Con. Yeah, can
Yes,
you get that Sirach 10? Because that's to back up your statement, Ak. You know, hey, this kingdom is going to be translated because of of unrighteous dealings, right? So on and so forth. Hey, it says, "Woe to that bloody city." Okay, the Lord's going to get rid of this stuff, man, and that's why you see so much calamities, in these great cities that Esau has built. You know, look at New York City, it's through. Chicago, it's through. You look at Paris, Rome, London, all these different places, right? That were great cities at one point. Now they're falling apart. But the scriptures say what? Miserable, are their cities, right? If you could get that too, I think it's Baruch 4 and like 26 or something like that.
yes, sir.
All right. But yeah, get that one first real quick. Well, miserable, are their cities? Roughly paraphrasing it. Because look, hey, we've been saying, well, I'll say this: the world's been saying this for a while now. Hey, the American dream, shit, the European dream is to get out of those places, to get out of America, to get out of the UK, to get out of France, Italy, and go where? These different countries, right? Like such as you know, you go to Thailand, South Korea, wherever. You know what I mean? The Philippines. You go, to different Latin American countries where, your money stretches, and then a lot of times these places are a lot safer too. You know, a lot safer. Because you go to, like I said, I named a few, major cities, New York, Chicago, London, Paris, Rome. Bro, people are dying left and right, getting stabbed, getting raped. People are using drugs.
France just collapsed.
Exactly. They're defecating everywhere.
That's where they
It's
were founded.
disgusting. You got it, Baba Kushak. Can you get that?
Yeah, this is Baruch chapter 4, verse 32. Miserable are the cities thy children serve.
Ooh,
Miserable that received thy sons. For she rejoiced at thy ruin and was glad of thy fall, so shall she be grieved for her own salvation.
exactly. So at one point, Esau was happy, and not just Esau, these other nations too, but mainly Esau was happy at our downfall, rejoicing at it. Now we're seeing these cities, go into ruins. It's done. Look, these places are done. It's funny, like especially seeing like what they call the old world, seeing those places fall. Come on, man. Whoever thought that Rome would fall, right? Italy. And I was thinking about the Roman Empire, when it first fell, you know. But it's funny how history repeats itself because no one thought Rome was gonna fall. You know what I'm saying? Centuries back. Now people don't think this place is gonna fall. America. That's why they say, "What? Who's gonna make war with the beast?" People really think this place is gonna go on forever. Hey, but the Lord is um, destroying it from the inside out. All right. But point being is, look at these cities, right? Look at Rome. Look at like I said, Paris. Look at Barcelona. Look at London. Look at Los Angeles. New York, Chicago, Miami. It is through, bro. It's fucking through. Yeah, of course, there's gonna be little pockets of it that are real nice, but as a whole, it's trash. Because they always try to hype up Chicago. Because I mean, we're from out here, man. We already know the deal. People try to hype up Chicago so much. Yeah, it's a nice city, so to speak, but there's so much BS that goes on. Every time they say, oh, because you got these people that say, oh, well, from Chicago, they're like, we don't want Trump in Chicago. They always show it's the same pockets. Downtown next to the lakefront, right by the museum campus, down to Navy Pier, past, going to Lincoln Park, and they always show that. Well, how about you show the South Side? How about you show the West Side? How about you show, the ghetto parts of the North Side over there by, Uptown? Why don't we take a look over there and tell me how nice it really is? Get the fuck out of here, man. We deal with this shit day to day, man. Get the fuck out of here. I'm so tired of people hyping Chicago. This place is fucking trash too, man. That
Yeah.
shit's been irking my spirit for the last like fucking year or so, bro. All of a sudden, everybody found out about Chicago because it's a little bit cleaner than New York. Still a major city, still very, big. You're able to move a little bit better, than New York and LA. And they're trying to hype this like this is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, it's
Fuck
all about
out of here. It's done.
it's all,
What'd you say, Oxalakia?
all about making money out.
Stuff exactly. But there's no money here. It's done. America's shutting down. People are going to be in a rude awakening very soon, especially in the next about 5 years to 10 years. Lord willing, we're not in this place. But let's just say this place, continues to last. They're going to be in a rude awakening very soon because it's going to be the age of AI now. And everybody's jobs are going to be taken. It doesn't matter if you're, that's why the scriptures say in the book of Isaiah, the 19th chapter says that there's going to be no work for Egypt, right?
I'm right
Look,
there.
what'd you say?
Right there.
You're right there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, if you can get there, yeah.
I
Water,
started.
bro.
You mind if I start at verse 13?
Hey, wherever, okay, hey, go with the spirit.
Yes. At 19 and 13, it says, the princes of Zoan are become fools.
Woo.
Princes of Noph are deceived, which are, those are great cities in Egypt. They have also seduced Egypt, even they that are the state of the tribes thereof. Because, this is the place where the tribes are being, smitten with a continual stroke. The Lord, he has not let back with Esau, Edom in America when it comes to vexing our people. All right, and that's just the truth. But it says, Lord Yahweh hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Which is just like Janus and Jambres. Most of what's going on in this land is the destruction of the leader. The leader himself is destroying his own kingdom just to keep it afloat. And the scripture, Satan cast out Satan, man. All right. Verse 15. Neither shall there. It's like I skipped it. It says, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. So, like you were just saying, that's a foolish thing to replace the people with automation. All right, and then giving the people a few jobs, man. That's like dangling a small piece of meat around a bunch of
Starving.
starving,
Yeah. Starving people.
Starving people, man. What are they gonna do? They're gonna rip each other apart. But that's the type of mindset that these leaders have had anyway,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, but see, you know what it is, Ark? Because I've been saying this for some time. That really going, because going to the Georgia Guidestones, right? They had one of the commandments said what? Keep the population under 500 million, right? See, Esau, he wants to do that. He wants to destroy the people. He only wants really the upper echelon to be around, and then maybe a few slaves to be in the background, right? To use them for their pleasure, whatever it may be. And You see, the thing and I've been saying this for some time, AI is here to replace you. See, because for the longest, Esau needed people to forward his empire. Now we're at a point where, look, AI is going to do that for us. Okay, AI is going to take over the job. Like I've been saying, look, they got I Jake, I Esau, I Ishmael, right? Basically, I Robot. That's what I'm trying to get at. They got that. They don't need you anymore. We'll just use these robots, and they'll be our servants. You see? That's what we're getting at. And he's almost, at that point. But we understand that it's not gonna work at the end of the day. But point being though is, he's gonna use these machines to replace you. I mean, bro, look, man, it doesn't matter if you're a lawyer. It doesn't matter if you're, flipping hamburgers. You're a cook at a McDonald's, right? AI is gonna take it. All right, it's gonna take your job. It's gonna take your damn job. Because look, Chat GPT and these other, AI, I don't even know what you want to call them, chats for lack of words, right? They can give you all the information. You don't need to go to a lawyer anymore. Look, you could just go to, to the kiosk, order a McDouble, and some damn robot will, flip the burgers and make it nice and perfect for you. Every time, mind you. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna, squirt out the perfect amount of mustard, perfect amount of ketchup, place your 2 pickles down perfectly, and throw a little bit of onions on there perfectly every time, no mistakes.
Yeah.
You see? So you don't need the people anymore.
Nah,
All right?
fucking AI is flawed. The only difference is that you're not gonna be able to speak up against it. That's what they keep on showing you all these little shows, is that
Yeah.
totalitarian, that you won't have a voice, and they're showing you that now with the freedom of speech. So you won't be able to complain. It's not enough ketchup. Oh, you're
Yeah.
getting jail.
Think about this, bro. Like a lot, even with the the stuff with the AI, like for and the freedom of speech, bro. You know how you get like flag for this, flag for that. The majority of the time, it's not even a person that's reporting you. It's just their AI database. And you
Oh,
said a couple of a couple things, right? Particular key phrases, and it basically flagged it. You know.
certain activities remind us of hate, of what you did on this and such and such, because it's an algorithm. So it's
Yep.
just, like you said, it's recovering data on certain different sites, or different videos or whatever that's on the internet, and it's gonna say, well, this resembles such and such, whether it's hate, biggism, or what have you, and it's gonna flag you or congratulate you.
Exactly. It's man, bro. It's getting there, man. And then they even show you that in Judge Dredd. I don't know if you remember that movie like that, but what was it? Rob Schneider's character, right? They caught his ass, the robot, and they basically, gave him judgment right there on the spot. And he was trying to fight it, and the robot didn't even listen to a word he said, bro. So, we're there. And then Esau wants to be that cop, that judge and that executioner, all rolled up into one.
Yep.
All right, but can you get that because I know we mentioned it, we didn't get it though. But can you get that Sirach
Yes, sir.
real quick? I think it was like the 10th chapter.
Yeah, I got you. Uh, this is Sirach, chapter 10, verse 8. It says, "Because of unrighteous dealings
Mm,
and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another."
exactly. So that's what's happening right now. You're seeing Esau's kingdom fall because of his unrighteous dealings. No, he got everything by ill-gotten gain, right? And then as Esau's sins continue to pile up, and while we're returning back to wisdom, returning back to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, you're seeing a power shift right now. You see it. You really see it right before your eyes. You know. You know, the regular Jakes and the regular Edomites, they don't understand what's going on out here. But we always mention it how, because really the main battle is between the elect of the nation of Israel and the elites of the nation of Edom. That's really what's happening. That's the real fight. Everybody else is just background characters, little extras, you know. You see, but we understand. You know, we on both on the left and the right hand side, we both understand what's going on. You know, I'm saying the far left and the far right. Like I said, you know, the elect of Jake and the elite of Edom. We both know what's going on, and we're seeing the power shift. And see what's happening is, you know, the elites of Esau, they know that they have a short time now. That's why they're going to come with that great wrath. Revelation 12 and 12. And we're starting to see these things, you know, they're starting to happen right before our eyes. Hey, they got all these ICE agents out here, right? In particular in Chicago. They're you know, elsewhere too. But in Chicago, there's a heavy presence right now. And they've been snatching up Jake left and right. You got, you know, the National Guard, you know, coming in. They're supposed to be going to Memphis now. You know? See, he's not playing anymore. He's getting tired of this BS, you know, so to speak. He's getting tired of all this shit that's going on. And
Yep.
he wants to get everything locked down and have everyone shut up. You're going to listen to me. Like how Elder Croft says it, fuck it, I am the devil. You know? Hey, like how we've been saying that on Thursday class. Hellboy's tired of shaving off his horns, man. You know? He wants to just have them horns out. Fuck it. This is me. I'm tired of being this, you know, character, that I've been putting on. Let me be the goddamn devil that I am. Let me be that murderer. Let me be
Um,
that sadist. Let me be that thief, that rapist. You
well,
know?
that's the thing. They put that in their shows, well, especially with these more new age shows where they're kind of political, and they like, you know, they right on that devil. You know, like that guy Homelander. It was also another guy that they had that's played by, I forget that one speckled bird that was in jail or whatever, but he was in this show. I'm a Virgo, and he was playing the white superhero knight too. But he doesn't give a damn about being liked anymore. All right, and that's what, you know, they were personifying in that show. The boys with home. He's like,
Hmm.
no, 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 we're not equal. I'm better than you. He's like, fuck it, yeah, I'm evil. Like he's basically coming out with that spirit, man. All right, I don't care about being liked anymore. I did this as a as a as a tactic so that you would listen to me. But now you just gotta listen to me because I got the force, I got the power. You can't stop me.
Yep. Exactly.
I got that revelation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can bring it out.
And this is Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time.
Yep. So you know that's the phase that we're basically in. All right, we're not at the apex of it, but we're starting to see the beginning stages of it. It's getting serious. It's getting real serious out here. It's look, man. Esau's about to go nuts. As the scriptures say it, what he's gonna be like a madman, sparing none. This guy's he's losing his damn mind. These Edomites are really losing their minds right now, and all they know how to do when they can't have the things that they want is throw a big temper tantrum, right, and get violent. That's all Esau knows how to do. Because you got to remember, Esau, he can't, like, I'll say this, he can control his emotions for only so long. But once it's over with, once he can, he doesn't have it under control, he just goes wild. We see it all the time. All right, you see, and that's when you get that real quick too. That was it that Isaiah where it says once the enemy shall come in as a flood,
Yep.
the Lord's gonna lift up that standard. You know, that's what's about to happen. See, because look, Esau's not winning this fight. You know, or I'll say this, winning this war. He's not going to win this war. He is going to lose. Yahweh Shem Shai is not going to allow this man to get the victory over the elect. The elect already won. To be honest, when you read the scriptures, you know, it talks about that in 1 John, the 2nd chapter. We've already won. And that's because our Savior has already conquered death. You know? Yahweh Shai already, he already has the victory. And he's going to, have the elected, the joint heirs get the victory too. They're going to get their crowns too. You see? But you got it, Doc.
Yeah, this is Isaiah 59:19. It says, "So shall they fear the name of the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai from the west." And that's we got to lift up that name. The more we get closer to always, all right. And it's glory from the rising of the sun, all right, because that's what we pray. We pray that the Lord will return us to our land in peace. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai shall lift up a standard against him. And you go into that means the Lord is going to play him to flight, all right. And how the Lord is going to do that, via spirit, power, an angel, or some type of divine intervention, he's going to preserve his elect men and the 1/3 men, women, and children of belief. All right. They believe in this, then we understand that there is no hope or salvation in any other but in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai.
That's right.
Okay. Trying to perform his ways on this earth. All right. Not under the guise of Christianity, which is really a support of all the wickedness of America. There really is no justifying, grape juice drinking Christianity, man, because it all supports this madness that is imploding on itself.
Right. Can you get this could be the last scripture too, so I get going. But can you get a Wisdom of Solomon like 8 and like 7 real quick? I think it's like 8 and 7. Maybe 6. I think it's 7 though. Or 18. Excuse me, 18.
Yep. It's Wisdom of Solomon 18 and 7. So of thy people was accepted both the salvation of the righteous and destruction of the enemy. For wherewith thou didst punish our adversaries, by the same thou didst glorify us, whom thou hast called. For the
Zach,
righteous,
keep going.
for the righteous children of good men did sacrifice seed.
Oh
And
no,
what
that's it, Salakia. But yeah, point being though is, look, these things are gonna happen simultaneously. What did 6 say, Salakia? Go to read 6.
of that night
No,
were
Salakia, my bad. Just read 18 and 7 one more time, Salakia, bro. My bad.
all right. So of thy people was accepted both the salvation of the righteous and destruction of
Mm-hmm. Keep
for, where,
reading.
for wherewith thou didst punish our adversaries, by the same thou didst glorify us, whom thou hast called.
Con. So the Lord is, all about balance, power of duality. As this place gets destroyed, as Esau falls, we're going to get saved, redeemed, and we're going to be put into power. That's what's coming, And we mentioned it, Monday, how, NASA, these different, science groups, whatever you want to call them, right? They said that, look, out there in deep space, we see a floating object or whatever, a moving object that's about 5,000 miles long. Oh no, it's like 12,000 miles long, right? And like I said on Monday, that's about 3 United States, okay? About 3 United States, because the United States is, depending on where you start, from the east going to the west, right, where you start and finish, it's about, give or take 2,500 miles to about, I think they said going to like 5,000 miles, roughly, okay? So point being though, that thing is, because we know that's a chariot, that moving object. Like the apostle said, that could be the father chariot, for all we know. Hey, it makes sense because the scriptures say what? Every eye shall see.
Mm-hmm.
Something that's about approximately 12,000 miles. Who knows? It could be even bigger too, for all we know. Hey, the world's gonna see a Yahweh Shai coming, okay? In those chariots, coming with that power.
Hey, it's just
Hey,
like, hey, you see it on these different channels, man, where like this feeling that comes in from another dimension, and then they getting broadcasted on every show. Because the thing is that not only are Gary's going to cover the sky so every eye can see, you have this thing called social media and going live where people are going to be reporting it on their phones, and everybody's going to see it. It's not going to be a denial. It's not going to be this is AI. It's going to be get a load of this. Do you see this? Everybody's going to
exactly.
experience, man.
Yep.
Don't deny
Yeah. Hey, the apostle said that too. The destruction of Babylon is going to be broadcasted. It's going to be broadcast, and that's how, because the scriptures talk about how everybody's going to wail, right? Those different nations.
it. Yep.
See? So that makes sense how you said with the social media, the different news outlets. Come on, man. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know if you had anything else.
No, that's it.
All right. Hey, hopefully, that was an edifying lesson. We're going to end it. And with that, we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Also, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And salutations to all you brothers out there. Shalom and a Bible bar. Shalom, shalom.
Baba Ball.